Hello and welcome to our first time ever sailing on the Disney Wish. We were so excited to take this cruise after trying our very first Disney cruise in 2023. We had actually booked this cruise a couple of months before we took it and ended up having to rebook for our anniversary. We weren't sure if this would be right for an anniversary, so we will bring you along and let you know what worked, what was fantastic, and what was just okay. So come along with us and we'll share our experience with you. Welcome to Vacation Request. We're so glad you're here. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fun. This is our first look at the Disney Wish in port in Port Canaveral, Florida. We tried our first ever Disney cruise back in May of 2023 on the Disney Dream out of Fort Lauderdale, and we were so impressed with that experience we decided to book the Disney Wish for our anniversary in 2024. The terminal in Port Canaveral is absolutely beautiful, and there's an incredible model of the ship in the terminal lobby, but don't be surprised if there's a line of people waiting to take pictures. There's nothing like the first moment you step into the ship's main hall and get greeted by the ship's announcer.
Introducing the Vacation Request family.
We were blown away when we saw the Grand Hall on the Disney Wish, and as you can see, the ship is decorated for Halloween. We booked in October during Halloween at Sea, which wasn't really important for us, and we enjoyed the decorations anyway. When you board the Wish, you're given a souvenir magic wand, and there's a wishing ceremony once you get on board. We thought, why not? And it was kind of sweet, and there were beautiful effects throughout the hall during the ceremony. If you have a magic band, it will be very helpful on the cruise, but it's not necessary. You will get what's called a Key to the World card that works basically in the same way. Since it was a special occasion for us, we splurged on a larger ocean view stateroom with extra seating. It was phenomenal to have all that space in our room. My husband pre-ordered some anniversary goodies for us ahead of the cruise, and we have some tips in case you want to do this too. Every port has different offerings. I've listed the Disney Cruise website on screen and in the description. If you look under gifts and amenities for your departure port, you'll find what's available, so definitely check that out. When you cruise with Disney, definitely join the Castaway Club. It's free and you'll begin to receive gifts on every cruise. For our second cruise, we are silver members and got this great waterproof tote bag and 2 lanyards, which are perfect for your Key to the World card. Here's a quick look at our veranda while we're in port. We loved having this private space to step outside and look at the ocean, especially at sunrise or sunset. The staterooms on board are well organized, and there's plenty of closet space, a safe, split shower and toilet rooms with sink in each one, making it super easy to get ready. Once you're on board, the buffet at Marceline Market will be open, and you can enjoy a wide variety of food even before the cruise leaves port. They have a little bit of everything. If you love lattes as much as we do, they serve great lattes at the cafes. They come with adorable latte art, and you can pick up a coffee card where after 5 lattes, the 6th one is free. There's an awesome sail away party that happens just as the cruise begins to set sail and is a really fun way to get into the cruising spirit as you leave port. The view is fantastic, and there's a whole cast of crew members and characters that are going to come out and put on a terrific show as you set sail.
Well, it's time to say bye-bye to Florida and hello to your Disney cruise vacation. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Time to sound the ship's horn. Captain Minnie, will you do the honors, please?
Oh, I'd love to. 4, 3, 2, 1.
After the sail away party, our bags had been delivered to our cabin and we decorated our door for Halloween. Door decorations are very popular on the Disney cruises, and you might even get a surprise magnet on your door. Don't be surprised if you see people decorating their doors the entire first night. Next, we went down to Deck 3 to the beautiful Walt Disney Theater for the Disney Sees the Adventure show, and welcome from the cruise director, including a reminder of all the features tailored to adults.
Let me remind you of a few things. Over the course of this cruise, you don't have to cook. You don't have to clean. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to work. That's what we're doing tonight. But there are 1,531 crew members here on board the Disney Wish to help you every step of the way. So adults, you have your own pool, your own coffee shop, you have your own restaurants, you have your own spa, you have entertainment that's exclusively for you.
After the show, we decided to head back to our cabin to catch sunset. It was amazing from our veranda. Can't recommend it enough. But the night was far from over, and there are so many shows for us to enjoy, starting with Villains Game Night.
Well done, Joy, you got that right. That's a point for the Scowl! Hey, Hades, how are you doing, man?
Fantastic, my friend. Thank you for asking.
That's ridiculous. You know perfectly well what that lever does. Mother!
Hey, Hades, any words of wisdom for the winning team?
What do you want from me? Accolades? It's not like you took over the cosmos or anything. Or even the underworld, for that matter. I mean, look at you. You wouldn't last a day down there.
Hey, Cruella, any words of advice for our losing team?
There is a word that I like to use in situations like this.
Yeah.
Revenge!
You heard it here first, folks. I'd like to round of applause to everyone. And give yourself a round of applause.
Next, it was time for our first night's dinner on the cruise. We were at 1923, one of 3 different rotational dining options on the ship. The food was fantastic, and it's a little bit more upscale than the other 2 themed restaurants on board. Like the other 2 restaurants in rotational dining, 1923 does not have a show, but the star of this restaurant is the collection of art and artifacts from some of Disney's greatest films. And even if you're not a Disney film fan, this museum quality exhibit is something to see. As I mentioned earlier, we weren't choosing this particular cruise for Halloween at Sea, but I gotta tell you, whether you're a fan or not, seeing the characters dressed in Halloween outfits and all of the Halloween theming was actually really fun on this cruise. Being our first time on the Disney Wish, we did a lot of exploring, and I gotta tell you, one of the reasons we choose Disney cruising is the beauty of the spaces on the ship. The Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge was something we were definitely interested in checking out while we were on this ship. We're Star Wars fans, and we were really interested to see what it would be like to be inside this immersive environment on the ship. And I gotta tell you, it did not disappoint. The only thing that we found, though, is it is a smaller space than we expected. So as you can see, the bar was completely full, and we didn't get a chance to sit down and actually have a drink as a couple, but we really enjoyed looking around and exploring the space. And as you may or may not already know, that window behind the bar changes as though you're traveling throughout space, and it's a lot of fun to see. One thing that we would just give as a tip is this back door is actually not a door, as we found out. Upon closer inspection, it was actually the door for the crew to enter and exit the back of the restaurant. So it was just hilarious that we tried and that there was a button to push. We came across this amazing painting on the ship that reminded us of that incredible model that they had in the Port Canaveral cruise terminal. It gives even greater detail of all of the different areas of the Disney Wish, and it's definitely worth stopping by and taking a look or grabbing a photo like we did. So as our first half day, really, on the ship is wrapping up, we're just exploring and really enjoying all of the people getting into the Halloween spirit and the Halloween decor on the ship. They have Halloween movies showing on Funnel Vision on deck, and it was just really nice to just take a long stroll and keep exploring the Wish before day 2 when we actually landed in the Bahamas. Our first full day on the ship was Saturday, and we were in Nassau, Bahamas. We had been to the Bahamas before, so we decided to stay on board, but we definitely wanted to grab a coffee and head to deck 6, where we could walk on the promenade in the front of the ship. The view here is fantastic, and Nassau was beautiful, and we could also check out the other cruise ships that we were parked next to. And we definitely had to grab a latte for that walk. We just couldn't get over how cute these coffees were, and each day the designs are different, so it's a really cute thing to do. One of the fun things we decided to try for the first time was a Learn to Draw class, and we both signed up for Ursula. This was actually a really great experience, and we think they turned out pretty good. It was a nice way to spend some time on the ship since we weren't going into town. This was actually a really fun activity, so no matter what your level of ability is, definitely consider this. It's a nice way to spend an hour, and it's a good time. We had some time to kill before dinner on Saturday night, and we decided to check out the dessert shop called Joyful Sweets, which is just basically a gorgeous dessert shop themed after a Disney film called Inside Out. Saturday night, we planned to celebrate our anniversary at Paulo Steakhouse, which is an adult-exclusive restaurant on the ship. The food has a great reputation, and the restaurant itself is beautiful. Unfortunately for us, we booked this dining experience with an exact 2-hour window ahead of a show that we had planned on seeing. We got sat 30 minutes after our reservation time, even though we arrived on time, and our dessert was not ready in time, so they actually handed us an empty plate for our dessert and we had to go. We were a little frustrated because we had given the server advance notice, but at this point there was nothing anybody could do, so we just called it a night. The show we didn't want to miss was their Broadway adaptation of The Little Mermaid, and we even got into the spirit and got a popcorn bucket. It was totally worth it. After the show, we decided to play some bingo. Keep in mind there are no casinos on the Disney Wish, but bingo is a good time. Sunday was the day we had been looking forward to all cruise. This was our actual anniversary day, and we were going to get to spend it at Castaway Cay. Now, if you've never been, Castaway Cay is a private island, and it's absolutely pristine. They have 2 sections, one for families and one for adults, and we headed over to Serenity Bay, which is the adult side of the island. Since this was the first time we got off the boat on this cruise, we had really been looking forward to taking pictures of the ship and also pictures around Castaway Cay. This is definitely the best time to get a shot of that artwork on the stern of the ship. We were able to pull off the nearly impossible and snag a cabana on Serenity Bay. And I say impossible because these cabanas go quick, but this was a rebook and it was between 2 storms, and I think that's how we got lucky. We must have caught a cancellation. The cabins are spectacular and absolutely worth every penny. It was like a completely different experience being on the island and having this private space. It's come with everything you need, from a little private changing area to a running sink with water to snacks, cold drinks, and washcloths, and there's even a concierge that you can reach by pressing a button that will come bring you anything you need. You'll get a cabana wristband as you leave the ship before you come onto the island, and that'll help you get situated once you're there. And this is why we go to Serenity Bay. I mean, it is spectacular, it is peaceful, it is beautiful. Now, Castaway Cay has a ton of things in the family area, and it's nice for adults as well, but we really wanted the peace and quiet, and this is what we came here for. We had an absolutely gorgeous day, and we spent as much time in the water as we could when we weren't in that amazing cabin. I thought I was finding a really pretty shell to take home as a souvenir, but it actually had an occupant. Another great thing about being in the Caribbean is you will see beautiful fish. Occasionally you can see a stingray float by, and then you have these little guys in the water with you. It's absolutely paradise. We decided to head back to the cabin to rest for a little while, and there was an incredible fruit basket waiting for us, and we decided to share some of it with some of the local birds, and it was completely charming and magical. They are 100% used to people being there all the time, and they are pretty fearless. We thoroughly enjoyed their company, and it was just a little extra touch of magic. My only complaint about Castaway Cay is that we don't get to spend the night there, because it was absolutely heaven and we stayed as long as we could. On our actual anniversary night, we decided to go ahead and eat in the rotational dining restaurant Arendelle. There was a scheduling situation with Paulo. That's how we ended up eating there on Saturday night instead of Sunday night, and that was fine. That was what was available. But I want to take a second and talk to you about the rotational dining on the ship. Arendelle is highly themed to the Disney film Frozen. Now, maybe you have never seen Frozen or you're a fan. Either way, there's no getting around this show as being a huge part of the dining experience here. We actually thought it was fantastic. It's in the round, and there are live musicians, live singers, and performers that come throughout the night. On the positive side, it's probably one of the best dinners with a show we've ever experienced. But there might be some negatives if you are interested in a quiet night. Dinner at this restaurant isn't quiet at all. There's always some theater going on, whether it's music, reenactments from some of the famous songs from the films, or occasionally the wait staff will get involved and engage the audience in some audience participation if they're interested in that. As far as the anniversary dinner goes, I would say it was more fun than romantic, but we were ready for this. We understood what we were getting into, and we just kind of want to set you up for it too. In order to make the reservation at Apollo, we had to skip one night of rotational dining. So one restaurant's not covered in this video, and that's the Marvel restaurant. But it's like Frozen in that it's a dinner show, it's highly themed, and it's very family focused. So we knew we were fine sacrificing that night in exchange for a night at Apollo. So even though Apollo didn't quite meet our expectations with the time situation, we were still very happy to have skipped the Marvel in exchange for the adult dining. Now, as you can see, we took a lot of footage in this restaurant, and again, I can't emphasize enough how incredible this show is. So even if you don't know the songs, or you don't know the film, or even if you do, there will never be another dinner experience like this outside of the Disney Cruise experience. Another thing that I think it's important to mention is if you've never been on a Disney cruise, not only is the food delicious, but you can eat as much of it as you would like. Now, it's not like it's a buffet, but if there are dishes you've never tried before that you would like to try, you can try as many as you like. And if you don't care for anything, the service on this boat is second to none. They will get rid of anything that you don't like, bring you extra things that you do like, and it's all part of the experience of dining on the ship. Now, this is an example of what I was mentioning earlier about audience participation. This was a little bit much for us, but I will tell you it didn't last very long, and it's really just a bunch of people having a good time. This is officially the last night of the cruise, and Disney Cruise Lines does something called Pirate Night. Pirate Night is something you can decide to participate in or not, but you will get some bananas delivered to your room during turn-down service, along with these amazing towel animals and chocolates, which they're kind of famous for every night. We had one more show to see, being the last night of the cruise, and one more chance to see all of the Halloween costumes and decorations on the way to the theater. The last show was Aladdin for us, and it was spectacular, and I wish we could film in it, but we can't. Afterwards, we decided to take a walk through the gift shop and check out all of the souvenirs and Halloween merchandise that's available during Halloween at Sea. Again, this is a special event. Halloween at Sea and Christmas at Sea are different than regular cruises, so this isn't always available. When you wake up Monday, you are already back in Port Canaveral and you have to be out of your room by about 8 o'clock in the morning. You can still have full breakfast and one last latte, but then it's time to go home. Into whether or not this would be a good option for a couple without children to choose for an anniversary, from us, it's a definite yes. With all the adults-only areas of the ship, Serenity Bay on Castaway Cay, and adult dining options, you can make this trip as adults only as you want to. So perfect for an anniversary or a special event. Our only complaint really is that the cruise is too short. See you next time.